Hi guys, it's me, Mr. Wilson, and I'm here with Chapter 12, Lesson 8. You will notice that we skipped Lesson 6 and Lesson 7 because we need rulers for that lesson. If you have rulers at home and you want to try to do them with your parents, you're just measuring to the nearest inch, half inch, and quarter inch. That would be awesome, but we're not making it a mandatory lesson to learn because not all of us have access to rulers. So we're going to go ahead and skip to the problem-solving lesson in Chapter 12, which is Lesson 8, pages 735 to 740. And then next week we'll begin Chapter 9, okay? So our strategy for this problem-solving lesson is solve a simpler problem. So, Shane rolls a 0 to 5 number cube and a 5 to 10 number cube together 20 times. The greatest possible sum is 15. Shane estimates that half of his rolls will have the sum of 15. Is his estimate reasonable? Okay, so first step is understanding what facts do we know. The number of times he will roll the number cube, so he's going to roll it 20 times. Shane is estimating that half of his rolls will give a sum of what? What did he say up here? He thinks half of his rolls will have the sum of 15. What do we need to find? We need to find if his estimate is what? Is his estimate reasonable? Okay. Step number 2. We're going to collect data and organize the data in a line plot. Then I will decide if Shane's estimate is what? We'll decide if it is reasonable, right? So when we're estimating, we always need to make sure it's a reasonable estimate. Step 3, make a line plot. Roll the number cubes together. Record each sum with an X. Half of his 20 rolls are 10 rolls. Shane only rolled a 15 how many times? So look at our data. How many times did he roll a 15 out of his 10? Or out of his 15 rolls. He rolled a 15 twice. So 2 times. So was his estimate reasonable? He thought out of his 20 rolls, he was going to get into the number 15 10 times. He only rolled a 15 twice. So was his estimate reasonable? His estimate was blank reasonable. It was not reasonable. And does our answer make sense? Yes. Because he only rolled a 15 twice. That is definitely not a reasonable answer. Half of your rolls could not equal 15. Okay, let's turn the page. Juliana estimated that she needs to make 100 favors for the family reunion. Is this a reasonable estimate if 62 relatives come on Friday and half of that many come on Saturday? Okay, so what facts do we know? We know the number of favors she will make. And we know the number of relatives who will be there Friday. So what do we need to find? We need to find the total number of relatives coming. And if 100 favors is reasonable. So our plan, what is our plan to figure out if it's reasonable or not? The plan is to find out who is coming Saturday by subtracting half from Friday. What I'm writing isn't making any sense. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to find half of Friday's number to add it together with Friday's number. That doesn't really make sense, but I'll explain it here as we work through the solve section, because it says up here half of that many are coming on Saturday. So in order to figure out, we need to half Friday's number in order to add it back to get Saturday's answer. So you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So Friday, we know that 62 people are coming. Okay? If we have that, find half of this number. If you divide 2 by 2, because when we divide by 2, that's halving a number. 2 divided by 2 equals 1. And then we know that 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this is half of Friday. So when we subtract, we get 2 minus 1, which is 1, and 6 minus 3, which is 3. So this is how many people are supposed to come on Saturday. 31. So, in order to know how many relatives are coming all together, we need to add Friday's relatives and Saturday's relatives. We need to add them. So go ahead and write Friday, 62, plus Saturday, 31. 2 plus 1 is 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. So altogether, there's supposed to be 93 relatives. So, is her answer reasonable? 100 favors. she's going to make 100 favors. Is that reasonable for 93 relatives? Yes, it is reasonable. Because she will have 7 left over. Because 100 minus 93 is 7. So, yes, it's reasonable that she's going to make 100 favors because 93 relatives are coming, so she'll still have 7 left over. So she made enough for the family reunion. Okay, I know that was really hard to understand. That's why these problem-solving ones are a little tricky. So, basically on these next pages, you're just reading and then drawing your charts. Okay, because they already give you the charts. So you're just going to make sure you draw your line plot, make sure you draw your bar graphs, and then does Michael have enough of each number? You'll need to figure that out based off of the story problem. Is it reasonable to say that half the class voted for a read aloud? You'll have to read the problem and count and divide in half. Okay? So I know this is tricky. This is probably one of the hardest lessons in our chapter, but problem solving is important for us to understand what we're doing, because in case it's not just a strict add and subtract problem, we need to be able to read our problems and decide what we're doing. Okay? So remember, page 737 is mandatory. 738 you don't need to do, and then homework is optional. Okay? Once you get this lesson completed, there's 2 skills that are optional that you can choose to do or can choose to just ignore, and they're BB3 and U11. So those are optional as we continue to finish chapter 12, and these are from lesson 6 and 7, which we did not complete, but hopefully you can accomplish them online on IXL. So bear with me as we continue to go through this e-learning and we get ready for chapter 9. It's going to be a hard chapter, but it's going to be worth it for our kids to be prepared for 4th grade. So I will see you next week with chapter 9. Bye.